Ready, and action. Okay, now, let's get her done. Well, now, time to get back in the saddle, isn't it? Yes, of course it is, because I've been fooling around too much. Well, I fool around on purpose. As I always say, there's a method to my madness. That is, I have received a couple of emails from my beloved students saying that I've been going too fast and piling you up with way too much work. So I've been slowing everything down. Let's set the microphone over here and we'll get started. Adjust this better. There we go. Cover up this grumpy old wrinkly old man face. Anyway, you don't need to see me, you need to hear me. Welcome to another fine day here at Sisseton, Wahpeton College Native Literature in lovely, beautiful, bustling downtown Agency Village, South Dakota. Time to have a bookgasm. All right, give me scissors. I think I just sprained my thumb with all this jumping around. I wonder what it could be. All right, here we go. Oh, open her up. I hope it's native literature and not a gardening book or something. Open it some more. Gimme! Ooh. Ooh, The Remembered Earth by my old professor and buddy and mentor, Geary Hobson, Cherokee, Quapaw, Chickasaw. The Remembered Earth. He is the editor. This is an anthology of Native American literature. This was published way back when I was a little boy, I think. Edited by Geary Hobson. He's from the University of Oklahoma, if you remember right. Yep, I was just a little kid when he published this. Wow, look at there. Simon J. Ortiz, I know him. Ooh, who else is in here? And Scott Momaday, the late N. Scott Momaday. He passed away about 2-3 years ago. He was another one of my mentors. Who else do we have? Norman H. Russell. I don't think, well, actually, I met him back in 92. Ooh, Leslie Silko. You know, I'm always going on about her. But never mind. Let's go. See here. There's a man made of words, a quote from Momaday. It says, once in his life, a man ought to concentrate his mind upon the remembered earth, I believe. He ought to give himself up to a particular landscape and his experience, to look at it from as many angles as he can, to wonder about it, to dwell upon it. He ought to imagine that he touches it with his hands at every season and listens to the sounds that are made upon it. He ought to imagine the creatures that are there and all the faintest motions in the wind. He ought to recollect the glare of noon and all the colors of the dawn and dusk. This is from N. Scott Momaday's Man Made of Words. It says here, the remembered earth is dedicated to the Native American people of the Western Hemisphere. More particularly, it is dedicated to all other Native American writers, unpublished and striving, whose work will come after this book. Ooh, look, we got Morris, Kenny, Peter, Blue Cloud. You know, I think I was chatting with Blue Cloud the other day on Facebook. Wonder how he's doing. Adrian C. Lewis, met him. How many times have they put Morris Kenny on here? Joe Bruchak, I need to write to him. He hasn't written in a while. I think we just exchanged Christmas cards. But he's doing all right. Joy Harjo, I was just chatting with her. Jim Barnes, haven't heard from him in a long time. Linda Hogan, Billy Hobson. Oh, I met Billy Hobson once. Joey Harjo again. Who else? Norman Russell. I probably met him once. Carter Rivard. I don't think I ever met him. Dwayne Big Eagle. Billy Hobson again. Russell Bates. Met him once. Lance Henson. I met him multiple times. I think he lives in Germany or France or something like that. He's a real revolutionary. Mary Tall Mountain. Where's Dwayne? Oh, Carol Lee Sanchez. We used to chat all the time when I lived in Santa Barbara. She's passed away. Who else? Simon Ortiz already talked about him. Emmy Whitehorse, probably met her once. Liz Cook-Lynn, she's awesome. She's really old now. She's like my mom's age, but she still got it. Sharp as a tack. Okay, let's see. Pulitzer Prize, blah, blah, blah. I want to open it up to some real writing instead of just me prefacing. Oh, goody, here's some. I don't want to read all this prefacing. There's some poems in here. In the Trail of the Winds. Here's a very old poem. It says here, this is from the Iroquois people. There's no name. Well, let me back up. It says here Peter Blue Cloud has rendered into poetry the beginnings of creation and its continuation through respect. If one has respect for the eastern dawn, he will have thankfulness for all creation, including the western sunset. Though Adrian Lewis may write of drunken Indians inebriated more from despair than rum, or Caroniac sings a troll song of growth, or Joseph Bruchac of the flight of hawks, or any poet speaking of wild strawberry plants creeping through the thawing snows of April, there is a touching teaching, often practical, more often significantly religious, a gratefulness, and possibly a warning. Indian poetry and story may contain the pleasures of entertainment, the beauty of the imagination, and the magic of language, but poetry and story has the extra dividend of praise and usually instruction. The humor of the often delightfully erotic coyote stories, the trickster stories, is meant to teach through the means of entertainment. Through delightful telling, they are morally sound. It has always been and remains essential to circle the family, the clan, the tribe, and the nation together. As the hunter and warrior have duties to the people, as the wife and mother has her prescribed duties as well, as the leaders and holy people have duties, so too do the poets and storytellers have duties, a function, a place in the community. Prayer, teaching, and song have as valid a position in the community as do war, the hunt, and housekeeping. They are links in a circle. And then there's a poem. Magic formula. You have no right to trouble me. Depart. I am becoming stronger. You are now departing from me. You who would devour me. I am becoming stronger. Stronger. Mighty medicine is now within me. You cannot subdue me. I am becoming stronger. I am stronger. 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 So this is an ancient Iroquois poem. It says here it's called In the Trail of the Wind. I'm going to skip over that and go to most of this is poetry. And well, wow, some of it's really long. We don't have a whole lot of time. Ooh, here's one of California. Since I have been bothering you guys about California Indians, hmm, who is this poet? Peter Blue Cloud. I need to write him tonight. Peter Blue Cloud. I didn't know he spent time in California. Let's read this one. It says here, bear. A totem dance is seen by Raven. The black bear does a strange and shuffling dance, foot to foot, slowly, head back, eyes closed like that of a man. Beneath a loosely falling robe, mouth sewn shut upon protruding tongue of red-stained cedar shreddings, foot to foot, slowly in lumbering shadow dance, within the fog and rain of high thick ferns, beneath a dripping, tapping spruce, echo of raven, morning cry of night visions unwanted. A heavy, leaning snag it seems at first, the sound of crashing fall, suspended between ground and lowered sky. Then swirl of fog unveils a huge head, carved atop a pole, a silver gray of cedar. Gnashing of angry teeth at driftwood shore and killer whales spews up a wreckage of pock infested sailors. Foot to foot, slowly, the totem dance continues, sky to earth, the leaning weight of pole and people and bear, and now the drum, rectangular and fringed with clacking claws. A chant begins of deep voice rumbling, of the black slate carved into bowls now broken with fragments scattered in despair, of a death not prophesied. 2. Great cedar poles and moist earth, these dwellings speak, with dark passages. The rib of a tribe is a brittle section of a dugout, or what is left of a stolen house post, vast heritage dragged into strange museums. And still, forever, foot to foot, slowly the strange and shuffling dance continues. And day after day the morning chants and keening voices silence all else, as dugouts, with quiet paddles, convey the dead to sacred islands in endless procession. And soil seeps through roof cracks to fill the huge and silent dwellings, and totem lean from which great eyes gaze either up to the sky or down to earth, and the death of a village is now a great sorrow, and the pain of the survivors is a great anguish never to heal. 3. Slowly and gently, foot to foot, balance and awkward in beauty, the child dances, and grandfather delicately taps the drum. His voice is very, very low, and the song is a promise given to a people in ancient days of tomorrow. And grandfather's stiff and swollen fingers weave cedar and fern and spruce, and occasionally in a faraway closeness her eyes seek the dancing child. The bear pauses in his quest for food to stand and sniff the air. Then, in a dream like a fasting, he begins to shuffle, foot to foot, slowly, as the dance continues. I think that's the end, because the next one says fire rain dedicated to the California drought. If you know anything about California, we've got problems with droughts and forest fires. All right, let me read this. I hope my phone doesn't ring. Fire rain dedicated to the California drought. Long before the last rainfall gave as a promise, flowers still sleeping and yesterday lived fire in the core of cedar of lightning stepping among within forests of dry decaying rootlets, and the fall and spark of painful fire rolling walking thunder seasons like anger. A nation it was who would burn the underbrush for deer and acorn. Nesting, fat field mice, squirrel chatter, coyote bark, naked, keening voice of storyteller pleading sun and moon to birth, walking stick stamping, a light beating patter, 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 chanting a prayer, mortar filled with dirt. Now kneel, ear to ground, listening, all are near, close by. The moon whimper is a child within the fir stump, smoldering ember. Listen closely now, the tap tap lightness, deer walk, deep grunt of black bear, bubbling acorn mush, sinewy strips of meat drying for the winter. I sing you blood of a tribe, a nation dancing, rattlesnake as guide, bear his scent pungent, berry eating and silent, dreamer of dreams gone. Into the night campfire singing again the people, the oak, the cedar, madrone and buckrush, manzanita and pine nut, blackened and thinking of fire, of raining torrents, of surging water sung into being. Heart, blood, the painful cloud, pumping clouds of thunderheads, creation's power. Stars are fire vessels, the universe happening regardless of man, who was granted song and whose chose the winding passage of mind games instead. Come on now, come on. Dance bloody your feet, stomping, dust puffs of raindrops. Sing raw your voices, calling, falling stars, and join the deer run, and climb the sky path of reality sought for atop the mountain. Send your thought waves out and let the earthworm fashion compost to thinking that long before the beginning we were nothing if not the guardians of earth, her wondrous birth, creation, fashion once and never again. That's not bad. Well, that definitely has a California feel to it. If anybody's has any of you, that is my beloved students, have any exposure to that state, you know exactly what this poem is about. All right, what else do we have here? I'm not going to read all of it because I'm just trying to salt your oats, as I always say. I'm just going to flip to some. Oh, look at that. There we go. Elizabeth Cook-Lynn. What do we have here? Liz Cook-Lynn, one of my heroes. She's, I forgot how old she is, 90 something, I don't know. There's Ray Youngbear again, but I'm not going to read him. I'm going to read Liz Cook-Lynn. It says here part 4. I don't know how come it starts at part 4. That's why I'm a little bit confused as I'm looking. This is on page 354 of this book. It says 4. Elizabeth Cook-Lynn. Not everything in the world has to be not not everything in the world has to have a beginning because some things just always were. Some of the Sioux say that Inyan, the rock, is the ancestor of all beings, of all things. Inyan was said to be soft and without shape and all powerful until he opened himself and then bled, and then he became hard, giving some of his power away. From that time on, the people could talk of creation. Okay. Next one, part 5. There was once a Sisseton woman who could converse with rocks, and she was known among her people for this remarkable ability. Once, when a young white boy drowned in Lake Campesca, his family called upon this woman in a last resort to locate the body of the unfortunate swimmer. She came to her home in Browns Valley and walked around the edge of the lake at night, at dawn, indicating where they would find the body. They dragged the lake at that spot. And Matuki, the body was found exactly where the woman said it would be. When they asked her how she was able to perform this incredible act, she would say only that the rocks had helped her. Hmm. And then it skips over to XV. What is that? 15? When the Dakotapi really lived as they wished, they thought it important to possess a significant tattoo mark. This enabled them to identify themselves for the grandmothers who stood on the ghost road entering the spirit world asking, "Grandchild, where is your tattoo?" If the Dakota could not show them his mark, they pushed that one down an abyss and he never reached the spirit land. Interesting. I'm not going to keep reading because I'm running out of time, but yeah, that was a serendipitous find. I just turned to any old page and found Liz Cook-Lynn that spoke directly to us. All right, that's enough of that. I've already spoken myself for 23 minutes and 46 seconds. With that, I'm going to knock it off and welcome you to continue looking at the rest of today's lessons. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later.